Sex, sex, sex. That's what we're covering on the show today. Sex. Have I got your attention? Good. I'm glad. My name is Howard Real, and this is Real Truth. And people might want to ask me, Real, why are you fixated on sex? Well, I'm not. I'm fixated on America's fixation on sex. Its obsession with sex on TV, commercials, movies, songs, electronic games, you name it, wherever you go, we are drenched in sex, and I'm here to tell you it's just plain unhealthy. Item from widerimage.reuters.com. When a third grade teacher from Texas asked her mostly 8-year-old students what they wanted to be when they grow up, one of them wrote on the whiteboard, a drag queen. That response came from Keegan, now 9, a, quote, gender creative kid, in her mother's words, illustrating just one of the challenges facing educators as they accommodate the range of gender identities that students might express. Really? You're telling me educators need to accommodate this kind of aberrant behavior? Let's continue. Educators who for centuries have divided students into boys and girls are now figuring out better ways to address students who are non-binary, gender fluid, and gender non-conforming, in addition to transgender kids whose gender identity differs from the one they were assigned at birth. Stop. Which government agency assigns gender? If only someone would tell me, because I keep hearing it. The article doesn't say if this would-be drag queen kid's parents have been arrested. I certainly hope they were, because kids don't just turn out like that. So I'd like to know what the hell's going on in that household. Related item from BBC.com. It may be superficially obsessed with virtual realities, but the best episode of the Netflix anthology series Black Mirror are ultimately more concerned with very tangible emotions. Such is the case with Striking Vipers, the clear standout episode from the most recent run, which launched on the streaming platform a couple of weeks ago. Telling the story of two apparently heterosexual men who find themselves having an affair via their avatars, one male, one female, in a virtual reality beat-em-up. It offers a beautiful expression of love and unconstrained by established gender and sexual identities. If there's one aspect of the story that may come to date, however, it's not the computer game technology, but the fact that back in the real world, this liaison causes the straight duo involved so much angst. That's because current statistics suggest more and more people are understanding themselves as having no fixed sexuality. Look about. Let's be honest, shall we? The show is called Real Truth, after all. So let's indulge in some real truth. When TV shows highlight transgender people or gender fluid people, when they make TV shows about them, it's not that they're attempting to understand or probe the psyches of these poor people. It's being done for dollars, for money, for ad revenue, because sex titillates, just like your ears undoubtedly perked up when I started the show by saying sex, sex, sex. Well, sex is a good thing, but too much of any good thing is too much. It's no good. And when it slides off into the weeds of gender fluidity and non-conforming gender, and for God's sake, children afflicted with this mania, well, then it's gone too far. Here's Dr. Paul McHugh, MD, former psychiatrist in chief at Johns Hopkins Hospital. Okay, he wrote this. It was published in the Wall Street Journal in 2014, and I quote Dr. McHugh. The transgendered suffer a disorder of assumption, like those in other disorders familiar to psychiatrists. With the transgendered, the disordered assumption is that the individual differs from what seems given in nature, namely one's maleness or femaleness. Other kinds of disordered assumptions are held by those who suffer from anorexia and bulimia nervosa, where the assumption that departs from the physical reality is the belief by the dangerously thin that they are overweight. Sex change, in quotes, is biologically impossible. People who undergo sex reassignment surgery do not change from men to women or vice versa. Rather, they become feminized men or masculinized women. Claiming that this is civil rights matter and encouraging surgical intervention is in reality to collaborate with and promote a mental disorder. A YouTube video titled How to Debunk Transgender Madness in 2 Minutes was shot by Dr. Michelle Cretella, MD, president of the American College of Pediatricians. She says the following. Essentially, transgender ideology holds that people can be born into the wrong body. It's simply not true. Human sexuality is binary. We know this because in nature, reproduction is the rule. And as human beings, we engage in sexual reproduction. You need a man and a woman to do that. Women are XX chromosomes and men are XY. Those are genetic markers for female and male respectively. Binary, that's the rule, and it's self-evident. If I consistently insist that I'm Margaret Thatcher, or consistently insist that I'm a cat, or that I'm an amputee trapped in a normal body, then I am delusional. In fact, there are people who believe they are amputees trapped in a normal body. They are appropriately diagnosed as having body identity integrity disorder. If you want to cut off an arm or a leg, you are mentally ill. But if you want to cut off healthy breasts and genitals, then you're transgender and you don't have a mental illness. My friends, this is so important that we're going to come back to it after we return from the break. All kinds of terrible, horrible things, sexual and non-sexual, are being given a pat on the back these days. We know they're awful, but these days, you can't say anything, and who are you to judge, and people have a right, and blah, 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 blah. No one has a right to raise an 8-year-old child who wants to be a drag queen. It's Real Truth, and we'll be right back.
Staring out the window, daydreaming about spring, your lush green yard and backyard barbecue. Don't look where you know you'll be knee-high in grass. Don't let the HOA come knocking at the door. Don't be that guy. Call Turf Gamers Landscaping at 970-460-TURF or visit our website at turfgamerslandscaping.com. We will get your yard in tip-top shape. Specializing in maintenance and install of commercial and residential properties. We pride ourselves in our clean cut and approachable crew for efficiently and quickly detailing your property. Visit our website at turfgamerslandscaping.com. Our install crew can transform your backyard into the outdoor living space you always dreamed of. Call me, Brian, at 970-460-TURF for a free walkthrough and estimate of what you need and discuss the best options for your landscaping needs. Family owned and locally operated, we've been serving Northern Colorado for over 18 years. Thank you for your support and supporting KHNC.
Before hiring a realtor from a big corporation who outsources their jobs and pays little to no taxes, ask yourself, what do you really want in a realtor? You need a realtor who is honest and has integrity, a realtor who is focused on the client's bottom line, not the realtor's bottom line, who provides personal, over-the-top service before, during, and after the transaction. You want a realtor that knows how to market your property. Hi, I'm James Morgan, a realtor with Grisham & Associates, LLC. I am your Colorado real estate specialist. Land deals, mountain cabins, or urban dwellings, I've got you covered. For the first-time home buyer, we will make it the best experience. If you are looking to move up or downsizing, we will do better than your last transaction. Call me today at 720-203-0731 or visit coloradoproperties.online. Let me do a great job for you. Now let's go right here, KHNC. KHNC.
All right, guys, welcome back. Howard, really? Yes, I know Donald Trump gave an historic speech yesterday. We're going to hear some of it today, I promise. But first, let's take care of this stuff first. Here's another related item. This comes from Entertainment Weekly, or EW.com, and I quote, "It's the biggest gamble a network has made on a new reality show in years. Starting July 9th, CBS will air a U.S. version of the sexy British dating sensation Love Island that will run a whopping 5 nights a week." Now, folks, I talked about this the other day. The goal is nothing less than to create an inescapable pop culture sensation just like its overseas counterpart. For the uninitiated, Love Island plays a bit like Big Brother crossed with Temptation Island, yet is more addictive than it's more addictive than the description makes it sound. The show begins with roughly 5 single men and women, islanders, dropped in a tropical Fiji villa. The singles are paired up in a selection ceremony, the coupling, where partners are chosen based on little more than their looks. These newly formed couples compete together in bawdy games and challenges and sleep in the same bed. Their overall goal is to remain part of a committed couple as tempting new singles are gradually added to the villa. Islanders are given opportunities to break up and change partners, and fans vote out couples who aren't considered worthy. My friends, I don't consider any couples on that island worthy. Not if worthy means people worthy of respect, or people who show respect to themselves or others. People getting together on a Fiji island to have sex with multiple people, first of all, is immoral. Second of all, this TV network is pandering to people whose ear perks up when they hear sex, 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 and want to tune in and see softcore porn. And if children tune into the show and the parents aren't looking, what then? All right, here's kind of sort of related. It's not sexual, but this once again has to do with the national psyche. From the Daily Mail. This is the shocking moment. There's a video on the website when you go there. This is the shocking moment. A mass brawl breaks out between parents at a Little League game involving 7-year-old children after an umpire made a controversial call. More than a dozen rival spectators, including women, began fighting after a 13-year-old umpire said one of the players had batted out of order during the school baseball match. Police said one person was seriously injured in the disturbance at Westgate Elementary School in Lakewood, Colorado, which happened shortly before noon on this past Saturday, June 15th. So let me set the stage all over again. The players in this baseball game are 7 years old. The umpire is 13. Maybe the umpire botched the call, maybe he or she didn't. But for some reason, the parents decided that this was something not only to argue about, not only calm down on the field about, but to fight about. You can watch the video if you want. Go to the Daily Mail. Pushing, shoving, slapping, kicking. I repeat, the players are 7 years old. If there's one question I've asked more than any other, all right, well, that's not fair. That question would be, why isn't Hillary Clinton in jail? But the other question I've asked more than any other is, what the hell is happening to the American people? We drown ourselves in distraction and entertainment. We can't get enough sex in the media. God knows if we're getting it in real life. Fighting over a baseball game played by 7-year-old children. What's going on? What's going on with us? I think what it is part of what it is that we're so plugged into the media, we want to be just like the people we see on TV, who usually are gorgeous and successful and well-to-do. We want all the thrills they are having, or that they appear to be having. And when we don't get it, we get angry. We want to be champions. After all, you turn on TV, championship, championship, championship. People holding up trophies, riding on each other's soldiers, parade down Times Square. We want that too. And we want the best for our children. So rather than showing them that, hey, sometimes the breaks go against you, you have to live with it, these parents decided to show their children what pigs and slobs they were. Imagine how proud one of these kids must feel to turn around and see mommy and daddy slapping and punching and kicking other people because of a call in a 7-year-old's baseball game. Wouldn't that make you proud of your parents? My friends, this country is going to hell in a handbasket. And despite all my efforts, these nearly 11 years, trying to pull America back from the brink, well, I've only had limited success, obviously. The fact that this outrage took place, the baseball game took place in Colorado, frankly, doesn't surprise me. Colorado is largely a Democrat state. Democrats live through their feelings, their emotions, not through their intellects. And so to discover that these parents are brainless slobs who can't take a bad break in a baseball game played by small children doesn't really surprise me. If parents in Colorado were smart, they wouldn't have voted for Hillary Clinton, would they? Item, also from the Daily Mail. CNN cut away from President Trump's 2020 presidential re-election campaign launch on Tuesday after he reiterated his attacks on the media and incited the crowd to scream, quote, CNN sucks. Folks, I have seen a host of other rallies. I've been to some. Donald Trump doesn't have to egg people on. He merely tells the truth, that the media is dishonest, it's partisan, it spreads fake news propaganda, it's disgusting and a shame. People know that already. He's not telling them anything they don't know. And so they will let loose with a chant of CNN sucks. The terrible part is that CNN does suck. You can't get the truth on CNN. And if someone comes on as a guest who speaks the truth, chances are even money they're going to be cut off or their mic's going to be shut off. CNN is fake news. So is MSNBC. By the way, ABC, NBC, CBS, not much better, if at all. There were between 20 and 30,000 people to see the president yesterday in Florida, in Orlando. According to officials, 120,000 people signed up to try and get in. They signed up trying to get tickets. Compare that with sleepy Joe Biden. You look at him on TV, he looks like he's going to, if you blow on him, he's going to fall over. He looks tired, like he's waiting for his nap. He holds a rally, 200 people show up. You mean that is the best the Democrat Party can do? Well, here's an awful little secret. Yes, that is the best that the Democrat Party can do, which tells you all you need to know about the Democrat Party. Item from Breitbart. Democrat, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo signed the green light bill into law on Monday, that's 2 days ago, allowing people residing in the country illegally to obtain driver's licenses. I've talked at length on this show about America committing suicide. I've talked at length about liberals and how what they think and do and say contributes to the slow, agonizing death of this great nation. So here's Andrew Cuomo, anus, signing a bill that says people who are breaking the law, illegals, can get driver's licenses. Why do we want illegals driving in this country? And if they don't, if you drive without a license, you've broken the law, right? Well, if you enter this country illegally, you've also broken the law. Now, if I know, because I was just talking to a friend of mine today who was driving a motorcycle years ago without a license, he got 10 tickets. Boom! 10 tickets. What happens to people who are here in this country illegally? Nothing, right? Worse that'll happen. The worst is that they're taken into custody. You got to give their information. And then after 20 days, they're released, never to be seen again. Something is sick in my native New York City, and it distresses me. Item from the Jerusalem Post. Diplomatic sources at the UN headquarters in New York revealed to Ma'ariv, that's a newspaper in Israel, that they are assessing the United States' plans to carry out a tactical assault on Iran in response to the tanker attack in the Persian Gulf on Thursday. Stop! That's wrong! The United States should not be attacking Iran because of the tanker attack in the Persian Gulf on Thursday. The United States should be attacking Iran, number one, because it is the leading sponsor of terrorism on planet Earth. And number two, they are racing to complete their nuclear program and have already and long promised in public that they will use those nukes to destroy Israel and, if they can, America. That's a reason to destroy Iran. Not because of this tanker attack. If the Western powers had been on the ball and had been grown-ups, there wouldn't have been a tanker attack because there wouldn't have been an Iran. This is a country that needs to be turned into a crater. And the diplomats and the politicians send out releases and they make speeches and they twiddle their thumbs. In the meantime, Iran is looking for hegemony. They're looking to be the number one power in the Middle East. And they can unleash, they will unleash, they say they'll unleash, they hope to unleash, they plan to unleash nuclear apocalypse. And the West does nothing. I hope that historians in the future will get that fact right. That the powers that be in this country, in this world, could have stopped Iran, and we simply chose not to. Item from Breitbart. President Donald Trump raised a staggering $24.8 million in 24 hours on the day he officially announced he was running for re-election. Now, when we come back from the break, we're going to listen to the president speaking yesterday in Orlando. But remember Beto O'Rourke? This is like a trivia question. He used to be one of the guys running for the Democrat nomination. I'm sorry, what's that you say? He's still running? Fooled me. Beto O'Rourke was the darling of the liberal media. He was a complete zero. He was a total nothing. He was some nerd who rode out on a skateboard on a stage when he was supposed to give a political speech. That's the level he's on. Well, at one point, he was the toast of the Democrat Party. After Michael Avenatti and after Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and after Pocahontas, or maybe I should call her Hiawatha, and after all the other nitwits and bozos who want that party's nomination, Beto O'Rourke raised, what was it, $6 million in a day, and everybody was agog. That's amazing. Donald Trump raised $25 million in a single day. On the day in which he gave a speech, and 120,000 people wanted to cram in to the arena and listen. I told you months ago, no one's going to beat Trump. He's going to glide to re-election, and that is a very, very good thing for America. A very bad thing for America is that there are still, and in Colorado, I hope you're listening, there are still millions of Americans who are stupid enough, naive enough, ignorant enough, self-destructive enough to continue to vote Democrat. It saddens me. It baffles me. But it's the fact. And so we're going to have to continue to keep our feet on the neck of the Democrat Party on all levels of government. We'll be right back with President Trump.
Society today is completely dependent on technology. Almost all services we count on, including food, water, and transportation, power grids, and yes, even the cars we drive. In the event of a massive power surge or an electromagnetic pulse in the atmosphere, this could render the country completely helpless. The president has just signed the first executive order to identify problems with critical infrastructure in the USA and prepare the United States in the event of an EMP attack. The power and water may come back on, but your home and all your computer-managed devices may be ruined forever. EMPshield.com has the solution. They offer the world's first whole home EMP protection device made in America. They can protect your home, office, auto, solar, RVs, campers, generators, and the list goes on and on. As a listener to the American Freedom Network, you can enter our call letters KHNC into the order code box and receive additional listener discounts. It pays to listen to KHNC. Go to EMPshield.com and find out. Ladies and gentlemen, don't live in America, that's what we do. I got the nutrition profile to be free. I'm not going to give you. You think what to me, what to bring, exercise, meditation, if I do in movie training, everything that we do is unique for no one is exactly like you. Maybe we'll suggest some food changes. Maybe you should have some for your diet. Maybe you should have some things that we can do. Maybe we suggest 300 calories supplement your diet. We usually suggest between 2 and 5 things. 60 capsules, 50, but remember, you're not obligated to purchase anything. Call us at 888-765-PERM. That's 888-765-4372 to set your no obligation goals. No, I'm watching the North Platte River.
All right, folks, welcome back. Howard Real Truth, author of Real Truth, Stay Angry, which you can get at virtualbookworm.com, barnesandnoble.com, amazon.com, just about any .com you like. Fantastic book. It's a conspiracy book, but it's real. It'll tell you who the power people are, why, and what they're up to. And you need to know that today more than ever. Now, Donald Trump officially came out for re-election yesterday at a massively attended rally in Orlando, Florida. I can't present the whole thing to you. They don't have the time. I will paste it up on my Facebook page, Real Truth Radio. But frankly, all you got to do is go to YouTube and punch in Trump campaign Orlando. It'll bring you right to about 50 videos of the thing. It was one of the most exceptional speeches I've ever heard. Here's some of it. There's the chant of CNN sucks that we talked about before. Believe me, CNN sucks. Folks, there are two things that jump out at me as I listen to the president and as I listened yesterday. Number one is everything he's saying is true. Compare that to the lying morons on the Democrat side and on CNN and MSNBC. Lie after lie after lie after innuendo, after slight. But what he's saying is true. The other thing that strikes me is everything he's saying is good for America. It's good for Americans. Compare that with the Democrats who want no borders. So anybody with any disease or any criminal or any gang member or any human trafficker or any drug peddler can come on in. What Trump has done and what he will do is good for America and Americans, and that's the main takeaway. We'll come back and we'll listen to more from the president yesterday. This is Real Truth.
Bible, just about anywhere in the world, all kinds of different views. So why do you think the history for different things things like that? Things like things like that. Just like that. Things like that. Why? What's happening? Just like that. All your goals is going to be all the things you're saying. 800-951-0592. Just like that.
All right, guys, welcome back to Real Truth. We're going back to the president yesterday and announcing that he's up for re-election. Here he is with a riotous crowd behind him and around him in Orlando, Florida. Let's go back to Donald Trump. By the way, when Hillary Clinton was running against Trump in 2016, and you would watch one of her pathetic rallies, anybody ever break into spontaneous chants of USA, USA? I don't remember it.
We stared down the unholy alliance of lobbyists and donors and special interests who made a living bleeding our country dry. That's what we've done. We broke down the doors of Washington back rooms where deals were cut to close our companies, give away your jobs, shut down our factories, and surrender your sovereignty and your very way of life. And we've ended it. We took on a political machine that tried to take away your voice and your vote. They tried to take away your dignity and your destiny. But we will never let them do that, will we? Many times I said we would drain the swamp, and that's exactly what we're doing right now. We're draining the swamp.
And as the president is about to point out, it's because he is successfully draining the swamp that the swamp is fighting back so viciously. 24/7, 365 fury at the president because he's draining the swamp. And because they have millions of useful idiots out there doing the swamp's bidding, not knowing that they're cutting their own throats. All right, guys, we're going to come back to this video. There we go. I want to get past the chanting because I want you to hear everything the president's saying. Here we go.
To overturn the results of the election, spy on our campaign, which is what they did, and subvert our democracy. Remember, the insurance policy.
Lock her up indeed. Folks, you don't mind if your tax dollars get pissed away on political investigations, do you? Yeah, I remember it. And who's investigating Barack Obama for his collusion with the former Soviet Union? So if you want to talk about collusion, when President Barack Obama was told that the Russians were meddling, why didn't he do something? Why didn't he take action? He did absolutely nothing. Now that to me sounds like collusion. All right, folks, we're about to hit a commercial break, so that's where we're going to have to leave it. I put it up on Real Truth Radio on Facebook. You'll find it. I'll save it on Twitter also. By the way, you guys should be tweeting me, whatever they call it. I'm on Twitter, Howard Real on Twitter. So stay in touch with me. Oh, already sent that one. Write to me on Facebook. You know, I want to hear from you. Tell me what you like, what you don't like, what I should be focusing my attention on. I think so far I'm doing a pretty good job after 11 years. I've almost got it down pat. We'll take a break, and we will be back with more Real Truth.
Do you remember the energy crisis of the 70s? A lot of people panicked. We came up with a solution. A best way to insulate your house, save you money, and increase your comfort. A best way to air seal and add insulation to your attic. A best way to insulate your wall cabinets, whether your house has brick, aluminum, steel, vinyl, wood lap, stucco, or plasterboard. Even if your walls were previously insulated. A best way to perform energy assessments and a best way to help our customers qualify for Excel and other utility rebates. 43 years later, a lot has changed. A lot of our competition has come and gone. A few things that haven't, we're still family owned and operated. We still develop new methods and techniques. We are still saving energy and, more importantly, saving our customers money. Best Way Insulation, founded in 1976. 303-469-0808. That's 303-469-0808. Grandpa's Pawn and Gun, serving Longmont and the Front Range of Colorado since 1994. We specialize in guns and currently have over 400 guns for sale. We also buy, sell, pawn, and trade for gold, silver, musical instruments, knives, archery equipment, quads, side-by-side, coins, and a lot more. We buy gun collections and do appraisals, which is smart for insurance purposes should a claim arise. We are, according to ATF, Colorado's second highest volume gun dealer, and because we have a lot lower overhead than the big box stores, we can beat the big box stores by as much as $100 per gun. And we have the lowest interest rates in northern Colorado, half of what the corporate stores charge when you're doing a loan. Come and see us at Grandpa's Pawn and Gun. If you love guns and you love gold, come and see us. Check us out on the web at www.grandpaspawn.com or 303-772-7952. Graham?
Item from Breitbart. Wednesday, CNN senior political analyst John Avlon weighed in on Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, saying migrant detention centers are concentration camps. Avlon said on New Day that Holocaust metaphors are, quote, beyond problematic, adding what the Socialist Democrat from New York said is, quote, across the line and unacceptable, quote. She said later she meant to make the comparison to internment camps. Look, the internment camps are horrific. The key difference being millions of people systematically murdered by a state, so that doesn't fly, unquote. So even the people on CNN are now saying that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is a moron. By the way, during the war, Jews were hauled to concentration camps and imprisoned there. The people who were in American detention centers came here willingly, broke our laws intentionally, and ought to be glad that we didn't simply turn them around and send them back where they came from. Instead, we've given them quarters and food and medical attention. So what is the complaint? I'm sick to death of it. Item from Breitbart. The editor-in-chief of the pro-government Turkish newspaper Yeni Safak accused, among others, the crown princes of the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia, Israel, the United States government, and those who crucified Christ of murdering former Egyptian President Mohamed Morsi in a column on Wednesday. I don't understand something, my friends, and if we had more time, you can call in and explain it to me. Turkey is complaining that those who crucified Christ murdered Mohamed Morsi, but that would be the Romans. There are no more Romans. There's no more Rome. So how could they have possibly done it? I can't understand what Turkey is saying. Item from The Independent. Venice's controversial mayor has declared that anyone shouting Allahu Akbar in the city's famous St. Mark's Square will be shot after 3 steps. Luigi Brunaro also said the Italian city was safer than Barcelona, where terrorists killed 13 people earlier this month in a van attack at the La Rambla tourist hotspot. Unquote. My friends, I never met Luigi Brunaro, but he sounds like a smart guy. He sounds like a guy who doesn't intend to have terrorist activities in his city. You shout Allahu Akbar, you die. It strikes me as a pretty good policy. Item from Metro. A sex doll business owner offers a special bereavement service for those suffering from loneliness, whereby she will create a replica of their dead partner. Now, folks, there may be more gruesome things in the world than that, but none of them are coming to mind at the moment. Item from Breitbart. President Trump's Department of Homeland Security has released about 7,900 border crossers and illegal aliens into the U.S. in the past 8 days. Federal data confirms. It certainly sounds like a crisis to me, my friends. Even the Democrats are no longer saying that it's not a crisis. Their lies will only carry them so far. Item from the Telegraph. A sperm donor in Australia has won a landmark high court battle to have his rights as a parent confirmed and to stop his child being taken to live overseas by its mother. My friends, this is sheer lunacy. Just because the guy masturbated into a cup does not mean that he is in any way, shape, or form the father of these children. You got to do a lot more to be a father than have an orgasm. I will be back tomorrow with more real truth. In the meantime, my friends, stay safe, stay healthy, stay angry.